Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Wizards podcast. It's your host, the real Ed Oliver, and my guy, Brandon Scott, your co-host. What's good, Wizards fans? I just want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Today, this episode is brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. Bet Online where the game starts. All right, so unfortunately, Israel was eliminated from Eurobasket. They played against Czech Republic with Tomas Satoransky, former Wizard, and also Jan Vesley, former Wizard. They were eliminated. They lost 88-77. They put up a good fight and a good effort. They were down for the majority of the game. It was 63-65 at one point in the second half. They were really, really close, where they cut it to 5, and it was really, really close. What was your main takeaways from the game, and what was the good? We'll start with the good for Deni's performance. What was your main takeaways from the game overall?
The good I would take from the game, especially for Deni, was he struggled, but he almost had a triple-double. So, he was still the vision. I mean, the vision was unreal tonight. I mean, his passing was nice. I mean, shoot, a couple examples. Second quarter, the pass for the layup, for the score. And then another pass that stood out to me was the third quarter to Levy for the easy score. His vision was on point tonight. And like I said, he's still rebounding. So even when he struggles, he still contributes in other ways. And even in a shot I liked, fourth quarter, that fadeaway in the corner, I mean, that was a nice shot. So even when he's still, when I noticed through the tournament, even when he struggles, he still contributes in other ways. So, all in all, still impressed with the performance last night.
Definitely, yeah. The vision was crazy. I mean, that's it shows the potential if he gets the ball in his hands. If Wes Unseld Jr. is going to use him as a point forward, and I can see that happening with the second units. I don't know if Deni does earn a starting spot. We'll see if they use him as a point forward, getting the ball to Bragg, getting the ball to Porzingis, Monte Morris, whoever, or Rui Kuzma, whoever. But Deni was really controlling the game at some points, getting the ball at the top of the key, a lot of behind the backs, in between the leg dribble moves, beautiful passes to Levy, like you said, beautiful passes in the fast break to Sorkin, where the big man Sorkin had a behind the back move and then dunked it. I love that. So Deni was really, really good in transition. He just had like eyes in the back of his head, the side of his head. He just really had good vision as a point forward. So I could definitely see Deni as a secondary ball handler. We've seen it in games before. We just haven't seen it consistently or him used in that role in that way. So that's something that I do want to see for this upcoming season. But overall, from the game 2, I mean, Tomas, he dominated the game at times. He really controlled the game. He was like a magician out there controlling the offense. I mean, Deni almost had a double-double, triple-double. Deni did have a double-double in the game. Looking at the numbers, Deni had 12 points, 11 assists, and 8 boards. So he flirted with a double-double. Same thing with Tomas. Tomas almost had a double-double. Jan Vesley as well had a really solid game, 7 for 10 from the field. But they really weren't able to stop Czech Republic from the three-point line. Czech Republic, they shot 13 for 23 from the three. They had a tough time stopping the Czech Republic.
Oh, absolutely. That three-point shot from the Czech Republic is pretty much what dug that hole that Israel just couldn't get themselves out of. I mean, like you said, they came within 5, but they were playing from behind most of the game. And Satoransky, another reason why I thought we should have brought him back. They kept the pace rocking the entire time. And you saw many times where, the Israeli team got caught off guard with the pace that the Czech Republic was playing with. They put the foot on the pedal and they just kept driving, man. So yeah, the Czech Republic, I mean, wow. They had a fast team. Very impressed with their performance.
Right, they definitely did. They out-rebounded Israel as well. Israel had 29 rebounds, and then the Czech Republic had 43 rebounds. So they look like a bigger team out there. They had another big man, number 12, who had 7 rebounds. He didn't play much in the second half, but Jan Vesley was rebounded pretty well out there as well. He had 7 boards too. But I thought they out-rebounded Israel. But Israel, they did put up a fight. There was another guy for Czech Republic. He had, I want to say 25 points. I'm looking at the box score right here. He had 25 points. His name is Vojtěch Herben. I'm not sure if you remember the dunk that was in the first half by Czech Republic. They dunked on Sorkin. FIBA basketball, they actually put it up and said that Deni got dunked on, but it wasn't Deni. It was Sorkin that got dunked on. But Tomas, and like you said too, man, Tomas is a guy that I did want to see the Wizards bring back if it was on a favorable deal. But I heard I want to say Chase Hughes said that Tomas wanted to be closer to his family, so he's playing overseas this upcoming season. But yeah, they were unable to stop Tomas to get into the paint. But Deni once again, 11 points, played really, really well. I love the way he played. Other guys stepped up for Israel too. Jan Madar, who's a young guy, I thought he shot the ball really well too. Blatt had a good game. And then looking at the box score too, there was another guy who had a good game too. Janat, I'm probably mispronouncing his name. He had 15.7, 7 for 9 from the field.
Oh, I've quickly become a fan of the Israeli team. There's a lot of talent on this team. Obviously, the headliner is Deni because, he plays in the NBA. But, like we discussed a couple of episodes ago, I would not be disappointed with a pipeline come the Israeli team because there's a lot of talent in this region, man. There's a lot of talent. And, even with Euro basketball, like we discussed before, there hasn't always been a lot of love for Euro basketball. And now they're showing up. So, I wasn't a big FIBA guy. This is my first year really watching FIBA intensely. And I'm a big fan now. There's a lot of talent overseas. And that, if you look at the dynamic of the NBA overall, that's good because there's a lot of overseas talent come over the NBA. A lot of it. So I'm impressed by what I saw.
Yeah, it was high intensity. The competition they were running, it was a fast-paced game and a physical game as well. The stands were packed. I mean, it was passionate, guys playing for their country. So this was my first time watching Eurobasket. I usually just watch the Olympics and then whatever USA is in, but I never really watched the Eurobasket. This is my first time. But I've heard that they're going to be back in 3 years. This is a young team. Jan Madar is going to be back. Deni's going to be back. The majority of their roster is going to be back. So I am intrigued to see how they did. I think the big backbreaker for them was that Poland, the Poland that they lost to was Slaughter, where Slaughter threw the ball off of Deni's back and then he scored like a Like Mike type of basket. But that game really, because if they won this game, they would have made it to the round of 16. The Finland game really stood out to me. Deni had a heck of a game that game. The Netherlands game, Deni had a heck of a game. And then he had a bad game against Poland where they doubled him. But you have to, be ready for that. You have to be better. You have to be ready for double teams. Teams they're gonna send different defensive coverages at you. And when you're the best player on a team, or arguably the best player on the team, you have to be ready for. They're gonna throw the kitchen sink at you. So he just has to be ready for that. But we're gonna get to some more about Deni, the good and then the bad, and then we'll probably get to a hot take at the end, and then we're gonna do a Washington Commanders prediction too, because they do play the Jags. Yes, sir. We both got our Commanders gear on. They do play the Jags on Sunday. This will be their first game of the season. I can't wait. But before we do get to that, this episode is brought to you by Bet Online. BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your pro and college football betting needs and sports info this season. Find all the latest football leagues, developments, game matchups, news, and podcasts, including this year's opening week's games. BetOnline is also your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting, esports, and scores. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite sports and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline when the game starts. So definitely put your bets on Washington, man. I got them getting the dub. So definitely put your bets in on Washington and put them on BetOnline. But all right, what was the bad or improvement areas that you wanted to see from Deni from this game? Where did you see you want to see him improve and translate it to the NBA games this upcoming season?
And that's a good question, man. Overall with the tournament, when he played bad, you saw some of those demons as far as getting down on himself from last season, but he really stepped up quickly in this tournament. He like I said, even when he had bad games, he still contributed. And to me, that's impressive. That's something that I really like what I saw from this through the tournament, the FIBA, because look, he shot 5 for 16 and still almost got a triple double. So I mean, he
right,
yeah. I mean, he played well. I can't. see too much to improve on, except for the middle part of the game. That's probably the only thing I can see he needs to work on is just, you're going to have off games, always contribute. Even if the shot's not dropping, rebound, defend, the vision. So, he really stepped up through FIBA.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I thought he played well, and he showed that he can impact the game in different ways. I thought he had a nice block on defense too. The passing, the way he can move his feet and guard 1 through 4. There was times where he was guarding Vesley out there. There was times where he had to guard Lauri Markkanen throughout the tournament, and he had to, be the defensive stopper on Lauri Markkanen and guard their best players. So I think that's definitely a translatable skill. Now, for me, this game, he was 1 for 7 from the 3-point line. I thought some of the shots were a little forced. They were off, but at the same time, I don't want to contradict myself because I was saying that I wanted to see him be more aggressive, especially in the Netherlands game. Now, he took some tough shots. Some of the threes were tough. He took 1 3 where I wrote down on my notes. Then he had really a tough bad shot selection from it. It was kind of like a heat check 3, but he wasn't hot enough to have a heat check because he wasn't hitting the threes in the first place. He was 1 for 7. Jan Madar got a steal. They got to stop. And he took a 3 that was way behind the arc. And I know he's been working on that with Drew Hanlen, but at the same time, just in the flow of the game, it was so quick in a shot clock. It really kind of deflated the offense on the flow of the game. And I think Czech went down and they hit a 3 on the next play. So that's something that I definitely wanted him to work on. But I love the confidence and I love the aggressiveness because that's something we didn't really see him do last year. And I want to say it was either against Netherlands or Finland where he was on the ISO and he was, basically dancing with the ball, crossovers between the legs, at a step back, hit a 3. And that was huge in that game, and they won that game. So, but yeah, it was 84-77. Deni passed the ball out for a 3. It was on a fast break. I didn't like that. And then I didn't like a call from the ref where the ball was out on Jan Vesley. Down the stretch, I thought Jan hit the ball. Deni had his hand on the ball, but Jan hit it from behind. And then Deni took it to the basket on Jan. And he airballed the layup on the other side of the rim. So those are the critiques that I had for Deni. There was one time where he should have just went up on a fast break too. He pump fake and waited for the defender to get there. And sometimes when you wait for the defender to get there, they already have you. But they did call a foul. He did miss the free throw. So down the stretch, he missed that free throw. And then down the stretch, he was off from the 3. The whole game, he was off from the 3. So 1 for 7 from the field. But like you brought up, he made some really good passes throughout the whole game. Yeah, I mean, even though his shot didn't drop, aggression is what I want to see. If you look at these top scorers in the NBA, even when their shot's not dropping, they're still aggressive. They still have that dog in them. And that's what separates the average from the best is that, you never stop with the aggression. You always, and that's what keeps the focus on you and really opens up the game for other guys around you. If you're always aggressive and the defense is always sitting on you, it's going to bring opportunities. And when you add the passing that he's shown, when he's on the floor, he's going to be a playmaker. He's going to make guys around him better. And that's good to see from, other players other than Bradley Beal. Because, last couple of years, it felt like a lot of that burden was put on his shoulders, playmaking, trying to set other people up. So if you can have another guy on the floor with Brad that can, make plays and really open up the floor, that's a plus, for this team going forward. So 100%. Yeah, I can see him being a connector, getting down the floor. Like you brought up that dog in him. That's what we want to see. That's what's going to separate him. The bad nights, how is he going to respond from off shooting nights, or can he do other things when he's not knocking down shots, which he certainly can do. He can defend and he can really pass and he can rebound. He rebounded the ball really well too. So that's something that I like too, how good of a rebounder he was. So throughout the tournament, he averaged 14.6 points a game, 8.2 boards, and 4.6 assists, a steal and a block. He did suffer a hand injury in the 3rd game. After that, his percentages went down a little bit. And then there was another stat that I found. So his final shooting splits, he was 33% from the 3, 40%, 47% from the 2 from the field, 72% from the free throw line.
Yeah, you saw the struggles, but like I said, overall, he took a step forward, through this tournament. And if he can bring this aggression and he can bring this basketball IQ into training camp, it's my opinion. I think that by the deadline, he should be the starting wing. Especially if the defense is still an all NBA style defense. If the shot can drop, I mean, he could be that 3-and-D wing that we've been looking for some time. So yeah, he had his struggles, and against bigger talent, as far as I don't want to say bigger talent, but Jokic. I mean, he's got a couple MVPs. So against even if you look at the Poland game, Slaughter, was putting in work. So he's had his struggles, but overall, I'm very happy with what I saw from Deni, and I'm very, very enthusiastic about him taking a step forward this season coming up.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, he's going to be battling with Will Barton, who's a guy for that 3 spot or, that 4 spot, really the 3 spot, because he played majority of his minutes at the 3. And I think Kuz was going to start at the 4. So the really one spot that's open to start. And like I said, I don't want to put too much stock on starting. It's about who finishes the games, who's going to be in that last, 5 minutes, that last 4 minutes, or we're going to need him for defensive purposes, so who's going to get the bulk of the minutes, Will Barton, he's super aggressive, and we do need Deni to be more aggressive. We need him to, be more aggressive, taking the shots that are there. Don't hesitate. If you got to open 3, knock it down. That's something that I saw too. He didn't hesitate on any threes. Any wide open 3 that he saw, he took it. And that's something that we want to see from him. That's a swing skill for him. And I think that's something that he worked on with Drew Hanlen as well. Finishing around the rim too is going to be a big swing skill for him as well.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. You're not hesitating. You saw a lot of that last season, and especially, his rookie year, hesitating. And I think, learning the pace of the NBA game, it taught him a little bit, because, one thing I saw from defense through FIBA is that, they're not always really intensely in your face. They give a lot of space, there's a couple guys that I saw that kind of had intense defense, but overall, I saw a lot of space and a lot of opportunity to get the shot off. So, that's why you saw, no disrespect, to AJ Slaughter, but that's why you saw a lot of, good performances from a lot of guys you didn't expect it from, because, the defense was given a lot of breathing room. But, the NBA, they're not going to give you that. You got to be able to get that shot off quick. So if he can bring that shot release and that confidence, in dealing with defenses, he's going to be another weapon, and that's what we need. We need weapons around Brad Beal. He can't, we need people that's going to help him with this, help take the load off his shoulders. And that's why, I like what I see from KP. I think Kuz is going to help with that. So, one more guy, man, if Deni can really step up, this team's going to be dangerous going forward. It really is.
Right. Yeah. I do want to see him and Rui and Kuz play together. It would be a dangerous lineup of wings that are 6'9" with long arms, that are versatile, that can do different things. Kuz is a good passer. He's a good rebounder. He can shoot the ball. Deni's a good passer, rebounder, defender. Rui's a good, shooter now. He's been shooting the ball well. He can score. He can score out of the post. He's a long defender as well. So I'm intrigued to see what these guys do. And I want to see Deni play more with Porzingis too. Lobs, getting to the basket, same thing with Gafford, and getting the ball to Bill. So I'm intrigued. The Wizards are a sleeper team. If Deni can take a leap and Rui can take a leap, Kispert, all the young guys can take a leap, the Wizards are definitely a sleeping fighter, a sleeping competitive team for sure. So, but all right, we're going to get to one of the hot takes that from yesterday. So we had 3 hot takes. We're going to get to one today. This one is from Twitter. This is from DMV_Scott. He says, a healthy Wizards team makes the playoffs. Kuzma top 3 on team in assists. Deni shoots 37% or higher from deep.
I do agree that if they're healthy, they are a playoff team. Mm-hmm. As far as assisting for Kuz, I don't see 3, because we have too many other guys that, I could easily see, obviously Morris, Delon, Deni, you got Brad. I see too many guys that hit a Kuz that would be up there with assists. I really do see Kuz being more of a shooter this season. I see him, I see his 3-point in his percentage overall getting a lot better. So, overall, I do agree. I think it's healthy. This team is definitely a playoff team. Health has always been the issue, So, yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, so I'm looking up the numbers too. Brad led the team in assists last year with 6.6 per game. Kuzma was behind Tomas with 3.5 assists per game. Ish Smith averaged 5.2. Wanamaker only played like one game, so he averaged 7. Dinwiddie averaged 5.8 assists per game. But for total assists on the season, I know Kuzma played a lot of games. He played probably the most games out of the majority of people on the team. Kyle Kuzma played in 66 games. Brad played in 40 games. Of course, Dinwiddie got traded. Kuz was third on total assists. I think it can happen again. Kuz did have a triple-double. He did have a couple games where he had a good amount of assists. Now, I know playing with Brad and Porzingis, Monte, will he have the ball in his hands as much as he did last year? Because, he was the number one option on the team when Brad went down. He was the number 2 option next to Brad at times too. So, but I can see him being third on the team. But like you said, I think Monte will be up there. Brad will be up there too. Deni may be up there too. He may be up there with assists, if they use him the way he was in FIBA. But that's the only thing with FIBA, I don't know if he's going to have the ball in his hands as much as he did with Israel, because he was the best player on the team on Israel, and the offense ran through Deni a lot. So are they going to run the offense through Deni in the regular season with the Wizards? I can see it happen with the second team. But to answer about Kuz, I think he'll finish around. I wouldn't disagree. I think he can do it. He's a really good playmaker. I love the way Kuz. He had a lot of behind the back passes, and there was this running joke on social media where he would do the no look pass, but it wasn't really like a no look pass. He would try to do that. So, but Kuz was a good player. And then he had the one game where he almost had a triple double. He had an Andre Blatch type moment where he got upset because I think Corey Kispert didn't shoot the 3, or he shot the 3 and he missed it, and he almost had a triple double. So Kuz. That's my guy. I love Kuz. Kuz is one of my favorite players on the team. So I think he can do it for sure. That's from DMV_Scott on Twitter. And then what are your thoughts on Deni shooting the 3 37% or higher from deep?
It's a step in the right direction. His shot's getting there. I do see him taking a lot more threes this season. Because think about it, look at Rui. Rui, his 3-point shot was pretty much non-existent. Now, he's stepping back there with confidence, and he's hitting some good shots. So, it's scary. Like you said, this is a really big sleeper team because, there's not a lot of big marquee guys that are going to wow you on this roster, but there are good, really under the radar talent on this team. And with KP, it's always been a health thing. Even with Brad, Brad, people forget early in his career, he had a lot of injuries, so he has shown that he, if you take last year out of the equation, that he's been a lot more durable in later years. But yeah, Deni, the shot, the confidence, with the confidence, he's going to start taking those shots. So, and like I said, it adds another weapon. That's what we needed, is another 3-point shooter. So if he can shoot the ball with consistency, is a big plus for us.
Yeah, so I'm going to take the under on that. I don't think he's going to shoot 37% from 3. Shot 31% from 3 his first 2 seasons. So that would be a big leap. Now, like you said, Rui made a big leap to 44% from 3. It wasn't the highest volume, but, I'm not going to stick my nose up on the way Rui shot the ball really well from the 3 last year. And this is, we've talked about a lot with Drew Hanlon working on his 3-pointer. I'm taking 35%. I think 35% from 3 would be really good because he would be more respectable from the 3, where you did see some defenses in the NBA last year, kind of sag off him and not respect him from the 3-point line. So I would love to see Deni be a threat from the 3-point. It would open up so much more for this offense because if guys go out and close out on him, then you just go right by guys and create a shot. And you can see an easy pass to Porzingis or an easy pass to Gafford for a dunk, or kick out to Brad for the 3, or kick out to Monte Morris. It would open up a lot for the offense, or even with the bench unit, kicking out to Rui for 3, or Deni just going to the basket and finishing and dunking. He dunked a couple of times in FIBA, which is what I want to see him do more. I do want to see him punch and dunk on people. He's 6'9", he's athletic, he's athletically gifted. I think he's able to do stuff like that and finish through contact. That's what I want to see him do more. So I do think the 3-ball would definitely help his game out and make his offensive game more versatile, add more versatility, and make him more dangerous offensively for sure. So I'm gonna agree with the first one with Kuz, and then I'm gonna disagree with the second one, but not by much. So, all right, but let's wrap up with the Commanders here. They play the Jags at 1 o'clock at FedEx Field, 1 p.m. on, what is it? Is it on Fox or CBS? I gotta see, but it doesn't really matter. It's supposed to be a little rainy on Sunday as well. Brandon, you're going to the game, right?
Oh, yes, sir. I'll be there bright and early, ready to rock.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are both diehard Commanders fans. We both got our gear on. So the Commanders, if you're listening for Bet Online, the Commanders are favored by 2.5 points. The game is on Fox. What's your 3 keys to victory? And then give me a score prediction.
3 keys. 1, I think Wentz needs to just let the game come to him. Don't try to do too much. You got talent, man. Rely on the talent. Let the talent play. Don't have to. Don't feel like you have to, do too much. That's 1. 2, Antonio Gibson, ball protection. Look, hold on to the ball. You're the man now. So hold on to the ball. 3, communication on defense. This defense, we got some injuries, but if communication is key, then I think they can play a decent job on D. So that's my 3. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Prediction. At first I said 24-17, but you know what? I don't like the fact that there's so much hate out there for my man Wentz. So look, I think he's going to show out 34-17.
Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. 34-17. Make it comfortable. You can just sit back, kick back, relax. You don't have to be on the edge of your seat, putting up 34 points. That's what I want. I would love to get a 2-score victory. I love for that to happen. My keys for the game, of course, you basically stole mine too. Carson Wentz, just take the layups. Take the easy ones. If Gibson's out there in the flat or McKissick's there in the flat, don't force it down the field. Let your weapons work for you. You got Curtis, you got Jahan, Terry. Spread the wealth as well. And Gibson, like you said, ball security. I still believe in Antonio Gibson. I think he's still a good back. I know the fumbles. A lot of people are down on him for that. And he got basically demoted. Brian Robinson's out now after being shot. He's recovering quicker than normal. So yeah, I want them to establish the run, open up the play action. I want to see some play action, throw the ball to Terry downfield, but let's get that run game going. Like last year, when we had that 4-game winning streak, we were riding the backs of Antonio Gibson and playing some stout defense. So that's what I want to see us to get back to there. And you saw how the Colts were successful too with Jonathan Taylor. I think that worked out best for Carson Wentz when they were winning games. And then, like you said, on the defense, Joey Slide's got to make his kicks too. I don't want to leave him out. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you hit the nail on the head, communication. Last year, we let guys run past us a lot. Jameis Winston hitting the Hail Mary and Darius Slayton running wide open, Cordell Patterson running wide open. And Jack Del Rio, he's talked about communication too. OTAs last year, he blamed on that because we had a lot of new guys. But I'm looking for William Jackson to step up and Kendall Fuller. Same thing with Ben St. Juste. So the back end has to step up. But Montez Sweat, I'm looking for a big game from him and John Allen and the Bama boys up front. I got us winning 20-16. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. And obviously the turnover battle, like you brought up too. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'm hyped. I'm just hyped. It's football season, man. So I'm ready to roll. But I think, Jacksonville's not going to be a pushover. But right. I think it's a win. Even if you look at Detroit, and I was watching, Hard Knocks with them in camp, and you see a certain fire out of Detroit you ain't seen in a long time. I like Dan Campbell at head coach. So, I think that we're going to be tested these first 4 games. It's going to be a measuring stick. We could easily go 4-0. We could easily go 2-2. We can easily go 0-4. So I just want to see I want to see some fight out of this team, especially defensively. We got guys out, but hey, bring that fire, bring that dog out. Because the fans, we gonna be there, baby. So let's get it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, if they start at 0-4, then I need somebody to get fired for sure. But I just want to thank you guys for listening. We hope everybody has a good weekend. Definitely, the Commanders, post your prediction and score for this one down below in the comment section as well. And make sure you guys subscribe to us on YouTube and hit the notification bell. But before we head out, we just want to thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. For your second listen, get up to date on the latest news and rumors in the NBA in just 30 minutes every day with Locked On NBA. Locked On NBA, your daily NBA update in just 30 minutes. Hail to the Wizards. Peace.